Okay, so the last portion of this exercise and a portion that's going to be carried through every single project that we do in this class is a process book Google Slide presentation. So this is basically a documentation of how you iterated each step of the process and step of the project, and able to have it all in one place. So you could either gather things you could have done differently or things you've done successfully by looking at your sketches and your first iteration, your second iteration, and your final, and so on and so forth, all in one place. Um, so this is a really good thing to make a habit of, even when you're doing it for a class or a personal project that doesn't require it. It's a good way to keep all your digital references together, as well as it could be a really good way to present a portfolio piece potentially by showing your process and how you create things as well, especially when you go, into the job, field and looking for, internships and things like that. This would come in handy if anyone was to ever ask you how you create or what's your process. This would be a good reference for that too. So for um, you guys, I will provide this template slide deck in Module 3 right under the Mapboard demo. So you guys will be able to have access to all these slides. And when I do share them, please do not use this, like don't write over this content. Make a entirely new copy. So the link will take you to this page, or the link will take you, the link will take you to this direct link. Make sure you hit File, Make a Copy, Entire Presentation. Because if you start using this for your own personal slide deck, it will change it for everybody, and then the instructions will be lost. So please make a copy if you plan to use this template. Obviously, first name, last name, process book, just so I know whose is whose. So for these slides, you're going to add your 30 box sketches. So you could add as many slides as it takes to fit all of what you did. And since we did online critique for your guys' sketches, it seems like a lot of you already uploaded those images. So a lot of you guys use just 3 slides for that. You could just copy and paste them over from what you submitted during that snow day that we had last week, and that's fine. So that could be your first iteration or first step in your process book that you would put here in these slides. The next would be your digital box iterations. So if you guys remember that first demo video that I gave you on like InDesign techniques and tutorials, you guys made a digital version. You took one of your best sketches and made a digital version with, using the boxes. We weren't using typography yet in this stage. So again, take as many slides. You could copy and paste this slide over and over to get however many iterations you guys did. And I know since we're no longer doing the 6x9 and 9x6 as a final turn-in, if you still did them in this step, still add them, because there was still something learned by doing that and by practicing it. So anything that contributed to your final step that you'll turn in, you want to put in this process book, whether you used it or not. And then for the next step will be your first typographic iteration. So this was the first printouts that you guys brought to class this past Tuesday on the 30th. So I want you to have 2 slides for this section. One slide be like the digital images, so from InDesign, just like export PNGs or whatever, you could take screenshots and put them directly in here. And then there'll be on a separate slide, the slide where you have your tracing paper exercise and kind of the comments that I wrote in our group critiques within this section. So this first typographic iteration section, you'll have two slides, one with just a clean, unwritten, uncommented one, and then one with the tracing paper and all my notes and everything like that. And then same thing with the second typographic iteration. So that's what we were doing in class on Thursday or today if you're watching the video now. It was whatever we talked about in our one-on-one sessions from February 1st. So again, first slide in this section, add just like the plain digital PNGs of whatever you brought to class that day, and then another slide with all the comments that we made and the tracing paper and everything like that. And then lastly, you just have your final iteration. So just include, so you will have 3 pages. So include all 3 pages on this one slide. But again, just for this, use your digital version. So your PNGs or screenshots. Don't take a picture of your mounted turn-ins and put them on this slide just because it'll make it look less clean and it'll be much easier to see if you just use the digital versions and put them on here instead. So again, please use this template as a good way of organizing your guys' process. You could add as many or interject as many slides you want for each section after you make a copy for the entire presentation. Make sure you do this so then all of your classmates get access to this without anyone editing over it. So for example, this was a student that I had last semester in a class over at the College of Architecture, and she used this template for a project that we did. So again, the way she organized the images on the page was very mindful. She didn't just, throw them on the page and didn't really think about the placement of the images. Like she has, some of the images aligned with each other, similar spacing. So just a very clean way that she put the images within both digital and sketches, her process. So try to keep that in mind when you're putting your images within your slides, is try to keep them as organized as possible in a way that makes sense for the way you figured out the problem and the way you processed the design.